Welcome back to Vegas Live. I'm Nina, your host, and of course we're down here at the Pepper Mill. I have Rusty Spindel with me, and we're going a little bit of a different direction today. Where we had, we just had the author on, and now we have a referee. This is a referee says, you remember the guy with the stripes? And I said, I know what the referee is and everything else. So that's a pretty tough job because you have to be in the middle there of taking care of both sides.
Yeah, it's one of the jobs where no matter what you do, half the people walk away mad.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're happy, they're mad. They're happy, they're mad.
You've got it.
I mean, it's like, because, well, why did he call it like that?
That's, you're exactly right. And, it's so funny because I give a lot of talks on this. Mm-hmm. And we talk about what people look at and what I look at as a football official, which is completely different,
Because we're looking at everything and whichever side we're on, we want you to be on that side. And when you're not on that side, you are no good. And he called it wrong and he didn't see it.
That's right.
But when you say you didn't see it, we now kind of have television, spontaneous television, and people that take little videos and all sorts of stuff, so it comes up immediately.
It does.
And that is actually what it is.
Well, we talk about, I tease about this from one of the talks that I give.
Yes.
I said, where do you go where they give you a rule book, they say start your job today, learn this book from front to back,
yes,
run your life by it, do a good job with it. It's in front of 100,000 people live and millions of people on TV.
Really cool. You got the television audience as well.
Yeah. And then if it's close, they're going to replay it to make sure that you did it right. And if you do a good job, you can come back next week and work another game.
Oh, they don't employ you.
I use the term.
This is different. Yeah. I didn't know this.
We're employed I use the term a year-to-year contract on a week-to-week basis. So you have to live up to that standard.
So if you don't see it and call it the right way, you will not have a job next week.
There's a good chance. There's a good chance you'll be watching it on TV.
Or in the audience. So that's pretty. I don't think anybody really knew that a referee, you really talk about being on the line.
Yeah, people say you ought to be penalized for the call you missed. Well, you are. You are.
Yes, you are.
It's financially and more than that, it humbles you.
How many calls did you miss? How long did you stay in the game?
Really? Now I've been fortunate. I've never been pulled off a game, and I started this in 1970,
Yay.
and I've never been pulled off a game.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah. Well, been lucky. You got to have a little luck. And I always tease about it. People ask, "Have you ever made a bad call?"
I'm sure you have.
No, never. Now, some aren't as good as others.
Get out of here.
But, you had that gray line. We're graded on calls, whether it was a CC, a correct call, or MC is a missed call, or M is a marginal call, and they all have grades.
Talk about honesty and trust.
You better be honest and trustworthy.
This is really 100% honest, 100% trust, because you've got two different teams on the line, literally on the line.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good point. On a line of scrimmage, you're right.
On the line of scrimmage of anywhere they happen to be on the field. Now, you also said you had the linesman, and that's the one
that's a chain crew. The chain crew. You have 7, in the NFL, you have 7 officials.
Okay.
In college, you have 8 officials.
Okay.
And everybody has their different duties that they do on that field.
And all the officials, as you say, have different jobs, which is the guy that measures, the guy that calls the line, and then you've got, who else do you have there?
Well, you have a referee who's the guy in the back of the offense, and he's the guy that does all the announcing on TV.
Okay, he's the announcer.
He's kind of the head guy.
He's kind of up in the box there watching it closely.
Well, no, he's on the field.
Oh, he's on the field.
He's a guy with usually a different color hat on, whether it's white or black, but usually a different color hat on.
Well, I'm learning a lot. It's really fun.
And he does the announcing on TV.
Okay.
I kind of tease his hat sometimes. They think it's a crown.
Okay.
No, they're good guys.
He's the king.
Then we have an umpire, which is usually by the linebackers on defense.
And that's when they turn around and say it's called out by the umpire.
Correct. Well, no, that's baseball. I think you reversed it.
Okay. Well,
but that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Umpire looks for holding.
Yes.
You have a back judge, which is further downfield.
Yes, okay.
You have a head linesman. You have a line judge. That's 2 people on the side wing. And you have a field judge and a side judge downfield looking. So, and everybody has their own responsibilities.
So you have more out there than I think meets the eye that people really think about. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know all this. It's just because I don't know it doesn't mean to say it's not out there. Believe me. But it's out there. But it must be fascinating, or it must be to keep in line with all these people. So you have to be very much in line and focused, and you can't take your mind or anything off any play.
That's very unique the way you say that. We have what we call keys, which is who we look at the
Yes.
snap and when the pass is taken and stuff. And an example that I give all the time is if my key is the widest receiver on the field and he comes down and he goes out and he's being held,
Yes,
and we have a pass to him, and I throw the flag.
Yes.
And the pass is what we call uncatchable. You see this signal on TV,
Yeah,
uncatchable.
yes.
People want to know
That's
why.
the end of it.
Yeah, why didn't I see that the ball was 10 feet over his head? Because I'm watching my key. The
Yes.
man behind me, the back judge, is now watching the ball.
Yes.
So that's where, we
So you
talk.
all play together.
Correct.
So you're all in
I've never
key.
heard it that way, but yeah, we all play together.
They all play.
We got to play well
Yeah,
together.
they're going to play well, and I'll be like kids, kids in the playroom. Watch the ball going over. So
Yeah, we
you
make a
have to-
team.
So you have to make the team, and you have to all work together as
Correct.
a team and as a. Have you ever had any mishaps that were called and you felt they were wrong?
We have film review and things after ball games, so we what happens is the game is played, if it's college on Saturday and pros on Sunday most of the
Yes.
time. We go in the next weekend and we review the film from the week before, and it has a script.
Yes.
And believe me, it tells us if we were right or wrong. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm
and
sure.
we watch the entire game on that script, play by play by play, to make us better on the
To
next
make
week.
it back for the following week, so you're always upgrading
Correct.
whatever you're doing. There's been a lot of sort of things about football and everything else and all the sports games that so sometimes there could be some hanky-panky going on. What I'm listening from you, there's never any hanky-panky. It seems to me like a straight game,
Unless
it's amongst the players.
Yeah, when you use the term hanky panky, you're talking about cheating or
Yeah,
anything
something
like
like
that.
that,
Years ago they had it in the NBA, Basketball Association.
Yes.
People have asked me about that. In football, a couple of things take place. First of all, and I've had friends of mine where we go to lunch, they come down and say, "Oh, Rusty, where are you going this week?" "I'm going to ABC," and they say, "Oh, I'm going to bet on the game." I say, "Man, don't say that for me. First thing I'm supposed to do is pick up the phone, call my supervisor, and they're going to report it to the FBI.
Yes,
and
of
the
course.
FBI is going to be knocking on your door. Okay.
So you can't know any of that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But part two of it is we have 7 officials on the field.
Yes.
It would be very hard for one guy to turn that game around. And the other 6 guys would say, "What are you doing?" Because
this is
it
so
comes up.
nice to know, because everybody has these little trickster things, thinking that these, they do all play games. No pun intended. It is a game they're playing, but at the same time, it's nice to hear from you that it's as straight as it can possibly be.
It is, and I tease about it when we throw a flag.
Yes.
I don't have a quota to make. I make the same amount of money if I throw one flag
flag
or if I
off.
throw 10.
Okay.
Same amount of money.
Is there any particular period of time that you see something wrong that you have to throw the flag? Is there any particular seconds in that it has to go down right away, or?
That's a good question. Nobody's ever asked me that, but
Well,
no,
yeah,
it's not. If you see it, because
You
let's
see it,
face
you throw it.
Yeah, I may be 30 yards away from what's going on.
Yes.
Well, if I throw it here, it's not going to do as much good as especially if I have what we call a spot foul. I got to get it as close to
So you
to the
have
spot.
to be as close to the spot of seeing it as possible to throw the flag.
No, I can throw it anywhere on the field, but we all have different parts of the field
I
that we're
see.
looking
Yes,
at.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm learning all this stuff. It's absolutely amazing.
You're going to be a football official.
Yeah, I'm going to go after that. You did something wrong. Now, Rusty, this is not the only thing you've done. You obviously don't do that anymore now. How many years did you do it for?
I started in 1970.
Yeah.
I officially retired in 2015.
Oh, recently?
Yeah,
recently.
not too long ago. And during that
How
period,
was it retiring? Missed it?
It was a mixture. I was ready.
You were ready.
Because it comes a time. I've had 4 knee surgeries and broke some ribs and fingers and all that along the way.
You're not playing the game, so how would all that
You
happen?
get hit. You get hit.
Oh.
Yes, you get hit.
Okay.
And I mean, it could be big hits. It could be little hits. It could be just somebody rolling up against your
But
leg.
if they're rolling around and they're playing a game and you're having to be standing and then they come right into you, did you
Yep.
think about that?
Yep.
Especially on the sidelines.
That's it. And my knees have gotten so bad that it was time. It was hurting.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I've had a good career.
Another
And
question.
Before we go to that, I got to share. I tease
Oh, yeah,
with friends. I said, you always want to retire the year before you should have, not
Okay.
the year after you should have. My friends
that
told me I
means.
missed it by a few years. No, I'm just kidding.
You are so funny. Is there any particular place that you have to stand on in the field?
Absolutely.
So there's a
Absolutely.
place where you have to stand, and that's where you have to be, and you are actually told where to stand in this particular. And as the game goes on, as they come up the field, you have to start changing, or does somebody else take over where they will be for
No,
the same team?
you're very right. What happens is by what we call a mechanics manual that we have, it tells
Okay.
us, and I'm just going to make up, I may start 13 to 15 yards down the field.
Yes.
And as we get closer to the goal line, it may drop to 10 yards, or it may be,
Yeah.
but we all have a certain place, and I'm on the sideline,
Yes.
13 yards down the field.
Yeah.
As the receiver comes, I keep what they call a cushion. I want
Okay.
to keep that 13, 15 yards.
So you can see exactly the whole picture and
Correct.
everything going on, because you
Correct.
have to be. It sounds like you've got to be pretty definite on this. Well, you have, because you're calling. You're calling something. You're calling a point
That's
of whether win or lose, and this could
got it.
make or break a game. So it's pretty important to make sure you know. Now,
There's a lot of dollars involved in that, too.
A lot of dollars involved. Yeah, a lot of
Yes.
dollars. What about when people kick the goal? When they're several yards, feet, whatever it is, and they kick the goal.
The field goal.
The field goal.
Correct.
Yeah. How does that get in? I've often looked at that. Some people do it with boots on. Some people do it bare feet. I get so confused. I think they're just kicking a ball.
Well, you know what's so funny? One of my jobs was to be at what they call the upright on the goalpost,
Oh.
to make sure that ball went inside the upright.
Okay.
We have two
and
of us back
do you
there.
stand behind the goal, or do you?
I prefer to stand behind the goal, and we have
Yeah, so
different
you can see
mechanics.
straight
I can
ahead of
see.
you.
Yeah, I want to see it coming.
Yes,
And
yes.
go. And I love it when somebody in the 80th row up on the 50-yard line who can't find their car when the game's over would say, "I missed it."
I love it. I love it. I love it. I missed
Yeah,
it.
they can see that from up there.
They can see that. I missed it. But way up there. So it's a pretty, definite thing. And because I always see they seem to throw the ball, or kick the ball, I guess I
Yeah.
should say, kick the ball. They seem to make it very, very straight. And I have to think that this is really training.
That's what they get paid for.
Yeah.
And if you go out to their practices, you'll see that they don't use a regular size upright. They shrink it so that they're trying to kick it into
So they're
this
trying
one.
to get into this little
Into the
narrow.
middle.
Because I've seen that, and I thought,
Yeah.
how do they get that so accurate? Of right in between, right in the middle.
That's
now
what they
we
try to
know
do.
why, because they practice on a smaller one.
There you go.
Now, since all that, I know we're probably going over time, aren't we? Nick, will you have a question?
Yes, what is his most memorable play that he had to call?
Oh, there you go. Your most memorable play you had to call.
How
Good or bad?
I'm going to do it this way. One of the most memorable plays I was in. How's that?
There you go.
Call, 'cause
Okay.
we call so many plays. And it goes back to a college football game, but it was University of Miami in Arkansas, TV game of the week. Miami came down, and I stepped up, and as I stepped up, I got hit. And I teased about it. I said, 4 of us hit. 1 of us went down. That was me. And I broke 3 ribs.
Oh,
So
you
that's a
remember
memory.
that.
I remember that.
Well-
And actually, we always remember the close call that is the game, and there's so many of them that the close call that I either called a touchdown or said it was not a touchdown, and that went one way or the other for the team.
Now,
you know?
who were you with? What game were you in?
Oh God.
Dolphins?
We,
You ever do the Dolphins?
no, I have not done the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are my favorite
I have
team.
done the Raiders though.
The
coming to
Raiders?
town. Yeah,
Yeah, you've done the
so
Raiders.
I've done
Who
the
else?
Raiders.
Mostly college football?
Mostly college football, because, like I said, the bulk of my career in the NFL was scouting people and teaching people.
Yeah.
But I've done the Raiders. I've done Tampa, Green Bay.
Green Bay Packers?
That was an
See, I do
experience.
know
Green
something
Bay.
a little bit.
Yeah. That stadium is kind of unique.
Absolutely,
It's the old time. And then I was fortunate enough. I worked 2 games, college games that went to national championship. Both of them involved Miami and Florida State. So that was good.
So you've had a good innings,
Had a-
as we
had a
say.
good-
You've had a fabulous
good
innings.
life.
And now you've retired, and now you actually talk about it. You actually have a talk show, or you have
I do entertainment
coaching.
speaking.
Entertainment. Oh, never heard of that one. That's us. Entertainment
There
speaking.
we go. There we go.
go.
Yeah, I don't want, people say, well, is it business? Why, yeah, I can roll it into business and things, but I tell you what happens. The name of our company is called Beyond the Goal Line.
Beyond the goal
I want to
line,
show. I
love
want
that.
to tell you what we do that you don't see out there.
Yes, yes,
and so that's what we
absolutely.
talk about.
Well, that's what I've been asking, because a lot of questions I don't know, but it's possible. What message would you like to give to the younger generation out there that are going to go into this sport?
Go in with your head screwed on the right way.
Well, because it might get knocked around the wrong way.
Yeah, and so many, unfortunately, so many of these young kids that come out of college and when I go to the pro, all of them have their friends and their neighbors and their family that,
Yeah,
well, now you're making zillions of dollars, what are you going to give me? And they'll come moving in the house. And when I was living in New Orleans, I did a fair amount of business in real estate with New Orleans Saints, football players,
Yes.
and saw the activity around the house. And, it's a shame that these guys...
They move in for the money.
Yeah,
They're friends with you for the money. We all know that. What? There's another question.
Did you ever make the wrong call?
Absolutely not. No.
If you made the wrong call, it gets fired.
Wait, that's a great question. And we know at a point, like I got a good buddy of mine that teases me. We watched it on the film. I threw a flag. And as I threw it, I almost reached for it because I said, "That's not
right.
yeah, that wasn't
get it
right."
back.
And so what I did, I went and I picked up the flag and I told him, and you see, we have the wave off now. And that's what I told the referee. I said, and then when I thought the second time, it was not. It had to do with a pass interference.
And was it okay?
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
so since I picked it up, I picked it up. I did not penalize.
No,
Yes,
did not penalize.
So we didn't make the wrong call, but it could have
nearly
been
the wrong call.
It's a half wrong call.
It's a wrong call. But you got saved by the bell.
Yes.
Your bell.
And also what happens, Nick, I'll share with that listener. If I throw a flag, I may have another official come in, and the first question is they're going to ask me, "Did you see the whole thing?"
And what's your answer?
If it's no, I'm going to tell them, no, I didn't. I saw the tail end of it. Or so, if I saw the whole thing, I'm living with what I made the call.
Yes.
If I need help, I'm going to tell him, what did you see? And he tells me, I said, you sure?
That's when you have those little talks.
That's right.
You see these little talks going on all the time, and that's what they are.
Absolutely.
To make sure you've seen what you've seen.
Right.
So this is so wonderful to hear all this, because this brings up the honesty of what's going on out there, and I think people like to hear that. So
Good.
It's quite an honest, truthful game going on out there, and if you think something's going wrong, it's their job. They lose their job. Right?
Yeah, you won't be back next week. You got to grade, like I said.
So how can anybody reach you if they want to listen to you?
Beyond the Goal Line Clinics is my company name, and it's BTGLC. So Beyond the Goal Line Clinics,
Okay.
CLINCS at yahoo.com, or I don't mind calling on my cell phone, 702-756-6614.
Awesome.
I do booster clubs and whatever I can do. I do a lot of charity events too. So
Awesome. So
happy to do it.
and you live in Vegas.
I live in Vegas now.
How
yes.
wonderful. So
yes.
he's in Vegas. So any kids out there that need any help, you remember that number, and he'll give you every advice you can, because he knows the game well. Believe me, he does. Thank you, Rusty, for coming on.
Nina,
Amazing.
thank you so much. I
We'll be
enjoyed
right
it.
back.